My name is Abuja. Welcome to Up Close and Center. And on this special edition of Up Close and Center, we explore the Come Fly With Me series, where we take you around different African cities and give you a mile-high view of each of those cities. As always, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon so that you'll be among the first to know when new content becomes available. Additionally, if you notice any areas, places, or buildings during the flight, please be sure to leave a comment in the comment section. As always, please relax, strap on your seatbelts, and enjoy the flight. Cruising altitude will be 1,450 feet above sea level. Today's flight will be around the central area in Abuja, Nigeria. Currently, land in this area goes for several $1 million, and the area is still largely under construction. Abuja is the political and geographical center of Nigeria. It's also nicknamed the Center of Unity. The concept of unity is important because Nigeria, unlike most nations, is a nation made up of ancient, pre-existing nations unified into a modern African giant. The first nation in what became Nigeria was the Bornu Kingdom Empire, which is one of Africa's longest-lasting empires. The empire was formed around 700 AD and declined in 1893. The empire encompassed large parts of northeastern Nigeria as well as other areas of the Sahel and Sahara. Mai Idris Aluma is widely known as one of the greatest rulers of the empire. Bornu peaked during his reign, and the empire reached its greatest territorial expansion. Military innovations included the use of horsemen carrying muskets, chain-mailed cavalrymen, and well-equipped foot soldiers. Bornu Kingdom was widely believed to have one of Africa's most disciplined militaries and one of the most heavily armed. As such, it was one of Africa's longest-running kingdoms. The next empire formed in northern Nigeria was the indomitable Hausa states, formed around 800 AD and lasting well over 1,000 years. The Hausa states were a collection of states started by the Hausa people. These people had a common culture, language, laws, and custom. They were known for fishing, hunting, agriculture, salt mining, and blacksmithing. Legend has it that they were the first West Africans to build wholly indigenous rifles, at a time when most Africans were still importing second-hand rifles from Europe. Unfortunately, the Hausa lacked internal cohesion and constantly waged war on each other, and would also work with outsiders to the detriment of their sister states, thus hindering their collective strength. By 1808, the Hausa states were finally conquered by Usman Dan Fodio and incorporated into the Hausa Fulani Sokoto Caliphate. The first empire to emerge in southern Nigeria was the Nri Kingdom. The kingdom operated a decentralized democracy with elements of theocracy. In fact, most Igbos rejected the concept of a king, and slavery was strictly outlawed. Moreover, if any enslaved African made it to the kingdom, their status in humanity could be restored. The kingdom's currency was called the manila. These were armlets made of bronze, copper, or gold, and even developed their own system of banking and savings called isusu, which is still very much in practice today. The kingdom had a sophisticated calendar consisting of 13 lunar months. The kingdom had its capital at Ibo-Ukwu, where many bronzes and artifacts from 1,000 years ago can still be found today. The kingdom was very peaceful and refrained from invading its neighbors, only fighting in defensive wars, in which it won most. Although a pacifist state, the British suffered severe casualties at the hand of the kingdom. Furthermore, the kingdom fought the British invasion longer than any other group in Nigeria. Thus, it was one of the few Nigerian civilizations to last until the 20th century. In 1911, due to heavy British casualties, the British threatened to completely destroy the kingdom and all of its citizens unless the people complied to live under British colonialization. The second major civilization in southern Nigeria was the Benin Kingdom, which is described as one of the most developed and advanced states in coastal West Africa. It was formed around the 11th century AD and lasted until it was annexed by the British in 1897. The kingdom's capital was Edo, now known as Benin City, in Edo State, Nigeria. Ancient Benin was known for its Great Walls. The Walls of Benin are a series of earthworks, also known as the Great Walls of Benin. This wall was almost 10,000 miles long and at some point reached almost 60 feet in height. According to some estimates, Benin's walls were at 1.4 times longer than the Great Wall of China and consumed 100 times more material than the Great Pyramid of Giza. The ancient city of Benin was also one of the first cities in the world to have street lighting. And despite their technical know-how and prowess, Benin began to lose power during the 1800s as the royal family members fought for power and control of the throne. Civil wars broke out, dealing a significant blow to both Benin's administration as well as its economy. In this weakened state, Benin was unable to prevent the British from interfering with its vast trading networks. A desire for control over West African trade and territory ultimately led the British to invade in 1897. Benin City was then burned by the British, who then made the kingdom a part of British Nigeria and moved many of their artifacts to the United Kingdom, where many artifacts remain till this date. Last but certainly not least of the southern empires was the magnificent Oyo Empire. This great empire was established in the 15th century. The empire was made up of parts of present-day eastern Benin and southwestern Nigeria. It grew to become one of West Africa's largest states and rose through the outstanding organizational and administrative skills of the Yoruba people. The empire held sway not only over most other kingdoms in Yoruba land, but also over neighboring African states. There was a high degree of professionalism in the army of the Oyo Empire. Its military success was largely due in part to its cavalry. There was an entrenched military culture in Oyo, where victory was obligatory and defeat carried the duty of leaders to commit suicide in the face of defeat. This do-or-die policy and politics contributed to the military aggressiveness of the empire's generals and leaders, where failure meant literal self-deletion. The empire was powerful, however, with time, the empire became weakened due to frequent internal wranglings by different factions and former vassal states reasserting their independence. These two factors led to the gradual decline, and eventually, by the time the British had arrived, the empire had already been so weakened by internal power struggles and the external wars from the expanding Islamic states to its north. As always, please remember to like, share, subscribe, and hit that notification bell icon so that you will be among the first to know every time new content becomes available. As always, if you have any additional analysis, please feel free to use the comment section. I've been your host, Ebube Okoli. Thank you for your time and your commitment to the continent.
So you just take the beef. Can you explain the process? It's like a delayed pepper. Like when he said super spicy, you know, it didn't register at first. The first one was peppery. My mouth's still on fire.